or girls just in general. Many of the girls I talked to said they felt like their childhood was ripped from them and they had to deal with adults at a young age. The 75% of girls who said they didn't have a safe space are also girls who answered yes to childhood trauma. Was that the reason they started drugs and alcohol and kept doing unhealthy coping mechanisms? Did my club help? Was my group actually successful? Did it help anybody? Was I able to create a safe space at school for them? Well, it turns out I did. Many of the girls in my club had the same response, that they felt wanted in the club. They said that being a part of the club benefited them by giving them a space to feel belonged, with most of the girls also saying they felt their problems were heard and the activities we did helped them learn more about self-care. I asked a question on which activity we did was the most successful. They all chose the activity where we closed our eyes and were asked a question and were told to raise their hand up. This helped them feel safe and able to show their thoughts without being targeted directly. After all this researching, I learned a few things about myself, and I'm glad to tell you them, but that'll be after the break.
A tasty cup of green tea. Delicious.
We're here after the break, and we were just talking about what this research has made me learn. It's made me learn a few things. It made me learn how important it is to give a safe space to these girls. It's really important to create this safe space because it can stop future addictions, possible deaths, and a more friendlier society. It's important to give girls a safe space because it can be hard to make one on their own. This could lead to overdoses, a life as a prostitute, or many, many horrible things. I also learned a few things about myself. I learned that I'm not alone in my own thoughts, that a lot of these girls think the same way that I do, and I spent a lot of time worrying about if the people at my school actually liked me or just pretending. This caused me to push them away and stay on by myself. This Google Forms survey informed me that I'm in fact not alone, and that a lot of the people I've pushed away actually needed me, just as much as I needed them at the time. This made me take a step back and focus more on reminding myself that others go through what I go through, and that's okay. So, in the end, why is it important to create a safe space for girls? My research led me to the conclusion that it's important to create a safe space for girls because girls may choose to lead a different life down a dark path, and someone once told me, you can't control others around you, but you can control your reaction. This fits perfectly in my mind, and you can't control your actions without learning how to. So the safe space I've created helped these girls to learn how to react in a better and more healthy way. Thank you for coming to this episode of Memphis's podcast. I'll see you next week where we have special guest Tom Hanks. Tell us how pretty we are.